It must have been at a PlayStation State of Play event or something when I first saw this game shown off. I didn't learn much from the showcase, but I remember just seeing the game. I knew it was something that I was going to have to play. Fast forward a few years and it was available in the local game store. It was in their 3 for 2 offer, for the PS4 version at least. Yeah, I'm a cheapskate, I wait. By this time I had mostly forgotten about it, and I wasn't actively searching for it. From time to time I would have my memory jogged about it, but it would soon fade again. No idea why, because I really wanted to play it. So now that I finally found it, I knew it was time to jump in. All I knew about it was the fact it had a great art style and was well known to be a surprisingly difficult completion. Owning the PS4 version meant I also had access to the free PS5 upgrade, so I set myself the task to beat both versions of the game before making this video. Here's what I thought. Also, small disclaimer, all the footage used came from my initial playthrough on the PS4 version, which I streamed over on twitch.tv/bohoho, so it isn't the best quality. But if you're ever bored, come say hi over there. Before we jump into what I liked and disliked about the game and the comparisons with each version, let's talk a little bit about the story. When starting a new run, you're greeted with a monologue about life, death and loss, so you know it's going to revolve around a few heavy topics that not everyone's going to enjoy in their gaming experiences. The game centres around the main character Kenna and her role in life of helping lost spirits cross over to the other side. With this premise alone, you know it's going to try and tug at your heartstrings a few times. I just need to say, I think her name's actually pronounced Kana or Kina, but if I don't call her Kenna, I'll have to consciously think about it way too much, and there will be no consistency with this at all. Anyway, back to these spirits. The game explains that they can get caught in the physical world due to trauma or unfinished business. As Kenna, you are tasked to either help them finish their task or help them reach peace so they can pass over. Early on you find out that a corruption has taken over the land, and one of the spirits may be to blame. Shortly after you meet a spirit sitting by a shrine with some wooden masks, you learn that when somebody dies, a mask is carved in their honour, and when it is fully rotted away, this signifies the spirit is fully passed over. Here you collect the masks of the spirits you're trying to track down. You can use these as keys to open other areas of the map, and to see visions of what the spirits have been through in their life. You aren't alone on your journey though. You collect these sickeningly cute creatures called Rot. They serve as the collectibles of the game, but they're also woven into the plot, that the more you collect, the more actions you can perform to help you out. I know this is only a brief introduction to the story, but it's one of those games that will hit way better if you go in blind rather than just have me sit here and spoil it. The first thing you will notice about this game is just how good it looks. The cutscenes have an almost Pixar quality to them, and you can tell a lot of attention to detail has been put into creating a believable world. This Pixar quality is backed up with an incredibly cute character design that again you would see in some kind of high budget family flick. The first little rock guy you collect has a grassy mullet, and I just thought this was awesome. The evil character designs and masks have a look as if they were corrupted by the land around them. Everything they wear is made out of natural materials, and the masks they wear work really well to appear intimidating. Although every time I saw someone wearing one, it just reminded me of the mask from the film The Mask with Jim Carrey. You know, when it's stuck in its little wooden form and wouldn't do anything? But this could just be me. The animals in the game also look like they're walking pieces of the world itself. I won't spoil what they are, but I really did like their designs. The particle effects and colours used when the magic is performed fill the screen with colour. This is a stark contrast to the almost black and white the game goes when enemies are occupying a corrupted area. The music is also of an incredibly high quality. It sounds as if it was written by people who must have previously worked on movies and TV before games. It's fantastic and used to convey the atmosphere and emotions of the scenes and characters perfectly. Even though the game looks and sounds great, a game lives and dies on its gameplay. So how does it fare? When it comes to the gameplay, it's a bit of a standard affair. It feels like it was going with a Dark Souls-like kind of combat, with quick and heavy hits tied to the shoulder buttons. The combat also relies heavily on dodging and parrying attacks. Luckily, unlike Dark Souls, there's no stamina meter, but this doesn't mean you could just wail on enemies and hope to win. Unless you're playing on the easiest setting, then you won't really have to worry. But even going up a few notches in difficulty, the game will start to kick your ass. It doesn't hold back at all on the higher difficulties, maybe even hitting Souls-like rage-inducing gameplay. Throughout your time, you follow a rather linear path from start to finish, but the more you open the areas up, the more of an open world it becomes. By the time you're searching for collectibles in the endgame, you're free to go anywhere you want, and this is great for taking in the visually stunning environments. It was a breath of fresh air to play something so colourful, but in an organic, although over-exaggerated way. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'll quickly have to say that I played both the PS4 and PS5 versions of this game, but to be honest, I couldn't see much difference. I did play both versions on the PS5, so maybe playing the PS4 version boosted the frame rate a bit, but other than that, they looked identical, and I played them back to back, so hopefully I'm not misremembering that. Since there was so little difference, I'd honestly say if you're a trophy hunter, picking up the PS4 version is most likely the best bang for your buck, as it includes both versions, with the PS5 upgrade available, and both versions have separate stackable trophy lists. I did find that the PS5 version made the combat a little tougher though due to the haptic triggers. I didn't feel like I could use the triggers as quickly as I wanted to, I imagine this can be turned off though, I didn't look. Anyway, back to the gameplay. Other than the combat, you'll be hunting down the little rock characters as I mentioned before. The more of these that are collected, the more world interaction and combat upgrades you'll be able to perform. Collecting them is set into 5 tiers, so when you unlock each tier with a required number of rot, you may be able to unlock something like being able to fire a supercharged arrow or lift heavier objects. This means it's in your best interest to scour every corner of the world to have a fighting chance. The corruption you will be tasked to clear will always have a flower somewhere in the middle of it. You will have to set your rot to attack it to change it from red to blue before you can use a pulse attack or an arrow to take it out. This only ever takes 1 arrow or 1 pulse, but the flower may stay closed or guarded until you've taken out all of the enemies surrounding it. When the corruption is cleared, a cutscene will play, showing nature returning to its former glory, and this always feels like you're making progress no matter how small the area is. The only downside I found with the gameplay was that some of the platforming in the later sections had quite strict time limits to perform. These are easy when you know where you're going, but sometimes you'll have to land on a timed ledge and have to quickly look around to see where to go next, and this can waste too much time and you'll fall to your death. It won't get really frustrating, as if you fall you start back rather close to where you left off, but I just felt like it could have been more streamlined. This kind of platforming does work well with hidden secrets though, as it can lead to multiple paths opening up from one area, which you can remember to explore next time you're running that way. You'll also find yourself working on a few side activities. These aren't missions exactly, but you can find things like spirit mail scattered throughout. You deliver these back to houses that are overrun by corruption. It's usually just a few enemies and collectibles inside these areas, but it also clears the surrounding area, so this allows for shortcuts around the map. So these are highly recommended to complete when you get a chance. There are also cursed chests, which when interacted with, will spawn a small challenge like defeating enemies in a time limit before the chest will open. On higher difficulties though, these can be a right pain. I would actually suggest just playing through the game on the easiest setting for a chill time if you're not too fussed about the platinum trophy, but if you are, this will involve a bit of dedication. You will have to find all 100 rot, 50 hats, 10 spirit mail that you'll have to collect and deliver, 16 cursed chests, and 25 flower shrines. A lot of these, such as the shrines, require unlocking different sections of the map to be able to clear the corruption stopping you from collecting them. Alongside this, you will have to fully upgrade all your abilities. This isn't too tough, as there's a few sections where you can grind out points pretty quickly to buy the upgrades. There are plenty of miscellaneous trophies, but these are for things like hitting 3 enemies at once with an arrow, and can all easily be obtained with a little bit of knowledge of them. Now here comes the big one though. You have to beat the game on master difficulty. This is no easy feat, as the game is absolutely brutal on this setting. It feels like not only do the enemies hit harder and kill you in very few hits, but everything now seems to explode and stick to you. There are a few ways to tackle this. One would be to complete the game on easy and use the New Game Plus mode to go through it with all your upgrades. This will help, but it won't make it easy. People do keep finding ways to cheese the master difficulty through basically using speed run out of bounds tricks, but these are getting patched by the developers when they're found. Currently there is a trick, but I won't mention it as it's most likely going to be out of date by the time I put this video out. As I said, I completed this on both PS4 and PS5, and there was very little difference. I imagine the frame rate must be lower when played on a base PS4, but here's a very small list of things I noticed. The PS5 controller vibrated when you were near a collectible. I don't remember the PS4 version doing this. Yeah, and that's it. If the visuals were improved, it might only have been minor, but I did play this on an old 1080p TV, so maybe you need to play it in 4K to get the full effect. I don't know. I did notice more things just about the game in general, though, in multiple playthroughs. One thing I was wondering, why are the good guys called Rot, and the evil stuff Corruption? Rot to me just gives the wrong impression, like they are evil. Strange. I never noticed until the second playthrough that there is no one in the village other than spirits. Is it like this everywhere? Where did Kenna come from? Does she walk the world alone now? I don't know. The water slugs you can control as well change size based on your rot level. Never noticed this, don't know how. And the area of Taro's tree is just way too much of a one-way route to be looking for collectibles. I know none of this little bit here is going to make any sense until you play the game, and hopefully there's no spoilers in that. In conclusion, I love this game. There aren't many games I can play again straight away as soon as I've finished it, but this just made me want to go back for more. Mainly I think it's because as I got better at the combat, the game just felt more satisfying, and parrying multiple attacks in a row just makes you feel like a boss. I found the world to be incredibly fun to explore, as it wasn't flat, there was plenty of verticality to it. The only downside was that when you want to use the fast travel, you can do it from the map itself, but you have to be very close to one of the warp points. So I don't understand why you just didn't have to interact with the warp points to use them. It's like they wanted to put it so you could use it at any point in time, but then changed their mind. I feel like if you could have used it at any point, it would have just streamlined jumping around the map looking for collectibles and extras and secrets and all that kind of jazz. But this is only a minor gripe. This comes highly recommended to anyone with a PS4 or PS5. Don't let the Platinum Trophy put you off. If you do, you're missing out on one of the best games I've played in a long time. If you liked this review, let me know in the comments. If you didn't, piss off. Nah, I'm joking. Please tell me ways I can improve this, because I just do this for fun, and I enjoy just talking about video games I've played recently. If you've played the game before, I'd love to know what you thought of it, and I'm happy for any suggestions of what to play next. It doesn't have to be along the same lines as this. Any game suggestions are welcome. So that just leaves me to say thank you for watching. Have fun. See ya!